It's week 13 of Church Online, and we're running out of ideas. So we're glad that you're hanging out with us today.
How do you do it? I want to be on it. Hey, I'm glad that you're hanging out at Community Church.
Hey, my name is Lou, and I'm so glad that you decided to connect with us today online at communitychurch.net. If this is your first time hanging out with us, we're really glad that you decided to tune in. If you take just a minute and head over to communitychurch.net/connect, there's a little form on there. And if you fill that out for us, we'll send you a gift card this week in the mail, just because we like to know when we have new people hanging out with us here. Allie, come get in the shot. Come here. She won't do it.
Do I look right at the camera?
Yes, or you can look over there, but it won't look like you're paying attention.
Okay. Hi, my name's Allie, and I run Community Kids. Every week we have new programs for kids. We have programs for pre-K and kindergarten, elementary, and pre-teens. You can find them at communitychurch.net/kids.
How many weeks old are we, do you know? How many weeks has it been since January 5th?
It was 22 weeks ago.
This is our 23rd week. So whether you know it or not, we're actually only 23 weeks old. This is our 13th week online, and we've been around for 10 weeks in person. So we're officially older online than we are in person. But we are here and able to keep going because of the generosity of so many people. And if you want to partner with us financially, you can do that over at communitychurch.net/give. But if this is not your church home, or if you're new to this whole thing, please don't feel any pressure to give. We're just glad that you decided to connect with us today. Good. So about 2 years ago, I was approached by a Stony Brook University student who had questions about what it looked like to work in the church. And that summer, Chris Padone became an intern with me over at Three Village Church on the North Shore. Chris and I would work together during the day, and then we'd go outside to play basketball. And in between games, we would stop and we would talk about what it might look like to start a brand new church somewhere else on Long Island. Now fast forward 2 years later, and if you've been here to our church property, you know that Chris is a huge part of what happens here at Community Church. He is a member of our security team. He's out in the parking lot. But what a lot of people don't know is that Chris is also a great communicator, and he's passionate about other people seeing how great God really is. And so this morning, you're actually going to hear from Chris. And I know that you're going to find his message encouraging. So in light of that, we're glad that you're with us, and I hope that you enjoy this morning's online service.
Worship our King. Come, let us bow at his feet. He has done great things. See what our Savior has done. See how his love overcomes. He has done great things. He has done great things. Break every chain, oh God, you have done great things. We danced in your freedom, awake and alive. Oh Jesus, our Savior, your name lifted high, oh God, you have done great things. Through every storm, you'll be faithful forevermore. You have done great. for your promise is yes and amen. You will do great things. God, you do great things. Oh, hero of heaven, you conquer the grave. You free every captive, break every chain. Oh God, you have done great things. We dance in your freedom, awaken alive. Oh Jesus, our Savior, your name lifted high. Oh God, you have done great things. Hallelujah, God, above it all. Hallelujah, God, unshakable. Hallelujah, you have done great things. Hallelujah, God, above it all. Hallelujah, God, unshakable. Hallelujah, you have done great things. You've done great things. Oh, hero of heaven, you conquer the grave. You free every captive, break every chain. Oh God, you have done great things. We dance in your freedom, awaken alive. Oh Jesus, our Savior, your name lifted high. Oh God, you have done great things. You have done great things. Oh God, you do great things.
Like Lou said, my name is Chris, and I am super excited to be here with you guys. Let's kick things off by thinking about your first car. Take a moment and picture what was your first car. If for you haven't gotten it yet, picture what you'd like it to be. But just know, it's probably not going to be that. For me, my first car experience was a little interesting. Up until this point, it was my junior year going into my senior year, and I hadn't really thought too much about it. I'd been looking on Craigslist a little bit, but I was waiting on my dad to see when we were going to do something, and he calls me up one day into our living room. He's like, Chris, I think I found a car for you. I was ecstatic. I was so excited. He goes, and then he looks at me and goes, I think you should buy your mom's car. And instantly, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I don't want mom's car. I want my car, not mom's. But I entertained him. I was like, oh, well, how much would it cost? And so then he asked me. He's like, how much you have? So I told him, and he goes, great. That's how much it is. And that's how I got my first car. That next year I'd been driving it. It finally grew on me. But I remember one day after lacrosse practice, a bunch of guys, we had gotten together, and we were getting ready to head to the next town over to watch a game. As we were on our way over, one of the kids in the back said he didn't like my taste in music, so I grabbed the aux cord, turned around to give it to him, and as I turned back around, a truck had come out from the side street. He had slammed on his brakes because he was making a quick left, but I slammed on my brakes, and I slid right into the back of his truck. My car was destroyed. Luckily, everybody was okay. At this point, we were only like a mile or two away from my house, and everybody I knew came by. Their parents came and picked them up, but I just stood there on the side of the road looking at this mangled car in the middle of the road, thinking, why? Why me? Why is this happening? And as I look back over the course of my life, these moments happen all the time. Little things from going to take a test online and all of a sudden the internet drops out. Or going to an interview and then all of a sudden I've got a flat tire. Going to the florist to get mom a gift and they're sold out. But then I take a deeper look, and for a lot of us it's much more serious. There's these moments in our life that we just can't explain. Right now, for some of us, we're stuck in this quarantine, struggling with depression and loneliness that we just can't seem to wrap our heads around. For a lot of you parents out there, this is the first time that you're homeschooling your kids. And it might feel like the more you put into it, the more they're pushing away. And you're sitting there wondering why. For some of you, we're stuck in this time of sickness and COVID or something else. And you're wondering why your spouse is sick. Or you're wondering why your kid is sick. And the only question you can seem to ask is why. And then for some of us, we've suffered tragedy. We've been through moments that we can't even start to wrap our heads around. People have been taken away too soon. And it'll never make sense. And we're sitting there asking why. You're not alone. In Exodus, Moses is called upon to bring the Israelites out of Egypt. And he brings them to the edge of the Red Sea. And as the army follows them, he parts the Red Sea. A lot of us have heard this story. Now, for some of us, we might be thinking, maybe the Bible isn't really for me. Like, it doesn't really have too much to offer me. Then there's some of us who are thinking, parting the Red Sea, I don't really know about that. That's pretty crazy, and I'm not sure if that actually happened. And that's cool too. Like, I'm not here to argue either way if it did or it didn't, but for the sake of today, let's just say it did. I think if you'll take a chance here, though, there's something profound right here. In Exodus, this man Moses is called on by God to bring the Israelites out of Egypt. And he goes through this series of ups and downs, and finally convinces Pharaoh to let him take the Israelites out of Egypt. And at this point, the Israelites are all following Moses, thousands of them, ecstatic to be out of generations of slavery. This would have been a great day. This would have been something amazing. It starts out all excited. It's this great day. We're looking, and Moses is leading us to this huge body of water. We can't really see around it. It's this massive sea. And there's this lighthearted questioning. It's like, okay, maybe he's got a plan. Maybe he's going somewhere. And now all of a sudden we turn around, and there's this massive army chasing us down. And suddenly, the hearts of the Israelites drop. Everything changes. The whole tone of the situation changes. Instantly, there's that overwhelming question of why. They speak up. They say to Moses, why did you bring us out here? Was there not enough graves in Egypt, so you brought us out here to die in the desert? Why couldn't you have just left us alone? Wouldn't it have been better for us to serve than to come out here and die? And instantly, the general consensus is that overwhelming feeling of why that we've come to be too familiar with. Now, what Moses says next is profound, but he's not answering the question why. He's giving us something to do in those moments. He's showing us how to handle them. Moses says in Exodus 14:13, he says, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today." Sometimes we're so quick to take this moment where the Israelites are backed up against the Red Sea and we jump right to the miracle. We jump over the fact to what's to happen next, that the Red Sea is going to be parted, and we miss something so profound in the moment, right here. And it's not our answer to the question why, but this simple truth shows us how to handle these situations. It's so crucial what he says right here. He says, stand firm, and you will see. A lot of you, you're looking at me and you're thinking, stand firm. What do you mean? Do I just wait around? Tough times coming, and I wait it out, and I try and see if it'll pass? No, he's saying stand firm in this moment, meaning to grab on, meaning that in this moment, you trust God even more. In this moment, you pull as close as you can to him, believing wholeheartedly that he's going to walk you through it. Stand firm means walk with him. Trust the situation. It means even though it feels like the kids aren't getting anything at homeschool, it means bringing your best the next day, trusting that it's going to be a better one. As we're questioning why we should even go to the hospital because we've gotten the same diagnosis time and time again, it's going one more time. It's trusting the doctors. It's taking that friend or that family member of ours back for one more round. And in those moments of great loss, when it feels like we can't even wrap our head around what's going on, sometimes it's just standing, just taking that next step, just going another day. Standing firm is drawn close to God. And then he says, and you will see. And I think oftentimes we hear that and we think, what? A miracle? And we're sitting there saying, Chris, I've been there before and I haven't seen the miracle. I've been there before and they didn't get better. I've been there before and it didn't go away. I know, I get you. I hear you. And I don't think that's what he's saying here. I think he's saying, stand firm and you will see a side of God that you have never before seen. In this moment when we pull close as we can to God, we get this view of him that we couldn't see from anywhere else, that we needed to be here to see. And in these moments where we hold on and give everything we have to this plan, we get to experience him in a new light. Maybe for some of us, we don't even know if this is for us. This might be our first time at church. But maybe we're dealing with one of these why moments right now. And I would challenge you to take a chance on walking with God. Because I'd say you'd have nothing to lose. Maybe for some of you right now, this means drawing even closer to God in this moment. All I can say is looking back over the course of events in my life, it's clear to me that oftentimes in the darkest of moments, God is the absolute clearest. We look at the foundation of our faith, Jesus and the disciples. Imagine being a disciple. The man you've given up your life to follow is sent to the cross in the peak of his life after doing all these amazing things, and you're sitting there in what might have been the greatest, most profound why moment of all time. And yet through that moment, the disciples got to see God in a way that they had never before seen. In these moments, you will see God in a way that you have never before seen. Just stand firm. Let me close this story. 4 years ago, my world flipped upside down. My best friend was walking on the side of a highway, and he was struck by a car going really fast. When the paramedics got there, he was dead. They brought him back and brought him to the hospital. When we got to the hospital, all I remember thinking is why? Why him, the greatest kid I'd ever known? The kid who could put a smile on anybody's face, who thought about others before himself. Why? The doctors told us it didn't look good. They told us it didn't look like there was much of a chance. And so we sat in the hospital for days, and days became weeks, weeks became months, with the same daunting question in our head of why. Why is this happening? Why here? Why to him? Why now? My head was spinning. For the next 2 years, my life seemed to spiral downward. And every single day I asked myself the same question of why. I remember it was 2 years after that a friend of mine, he encouraged me to grab onto what little faith I had. He encouraged me that maybe, just maybe, if I was willing to take a chance on God in this moment, that he would show me something in this that I couldn't have seen. He would walk me through it. I had nothing left to lose. I took a chance, and God walked with me through this. And in that moment, when I pulled closest to God and I walked with him through, I saw him in a way that I'd never seen before. Looking back, if you asked me if I could go back and change that, in a heartbeat, I'd go back. Looking back, if If you ask me if I thought this happened for me, no. I don't think that's how God works. I don't think people suffer for other people. But I've seen that God is willing to walk with us through suffering. And as a result, show us a side of him that we only could have seen in those circumstances. To this day, I still ask why sometimes. And I have to remind myself to stand firm and trust that I will see a side of God that I've never before seen. Maybe this is you right now. Maybe like Moses, you're sitting there with your feet in the water at the edge of the Red Sea, just wondering why. I'd encourage you to pull close to God, to grab on tight, to trust him. Because the record shows for me that oftentimes in these hopeless and dark moments, God becomes the absolute clearest. Stand firm, and you will see.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us online. If you're new to Community Church or haven't done this before, please go to communitychurch.net/connect to let us know who you are so that we can keep you informed about what our plan is for the summer. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.